What always surprises me is whenever you always get like the toxic masculinity, like you get the patients that are literally they're dying, like, and then you go to put the condom cath on and you're like, "Hey, like, can you go get me a small condom cath?" And they're like, "I'm not a small. I'm
Baby.
I'm not a small." And I'm just like,
Mm,
"Okay.
well, the skin tells me, yeah.
Okay. We don't have to lie. I feel like there's other things that we could worry about. Let's focus on the things that we can change." You know?
I beg your pardon. Hey, besties, it's your favorite caffeinated, medicated, and never hydrated nurse, Nurse John, and welcome back to your favorite podcast. I beg your pardon. Bestie, I miss you so much. I'm so happy to be back for another week of another episode of your favorite podcast. Before we head on to this episode, do me a quick favor. If you're listening right now, make sure that you follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review and make sure that you share this episode to your friends, family, colleagues, everyone so they can listen to this amazing episode, which I know you guys are super excited to meet our guests for this week. But before we head to that, if you're wondering what kind of scrubs I wear Gardmalade, GARDEMALADE. And if you want to use my discount code, it's NurseJohnGM, NURSEJOHNGM. They are the only scrubs I wear because I love them so much. They're so comfortable, they're so stylish. They are my favorite scrubs ever. Nothing else. All right, Bessie. Well, before we head on again to another episode, I just want to ask how you're doing, how's life going, how's work, how's relationship, how's family, how's friends. I hope everything is going well. And if it's not, remember, there's always another day to make it right. And if things are not going well, again, the most important part is you're able to realize it, you're able to ask for help, and you're able to kind of sit down and take a step back and think to yourself, what can I do to resolve a situation that I'm going through or anything that's going on in your life? And again, I think one thing that I always tell you guys is never ever compare your success or your pathway to another person's success and pathway, because again, that is a thief of joy. Comparing yourself from others and comparing things that should not be compared, because first of all, whatever is happening in your life right now is your success. And remember, whatever you have in life right now is something that you've been wishing for and been asking for maybe the past 5 years, 10 years. And the thing is, you probably have not recognized those things to yourself. And it's just good for us to recognize the things that you achieve, whether it's small, medium, large, whatever it is, to thank yourself wherever you are in your life right now. That's a little emotional to start this podcast. All right, you guys, let's get into it. In this episode of this podcast, I brought you guys the most demure, the most mindful, the baddest, the sassiest, your only Daddy Addie.
Hey, what's up, guys? Let's get one thing straight and two things gay.
I love it so much. Thank you so much for coming
No,
here.
thank you for inviting me.
No, stop it, Addison. I love
Stop.
you so much.
Oh my gosh.
I think the first ever time I've met you was on a Guard Malad event.
Yes.
And I just fell in love with your personality because he is exactly the same person you guys on the internet.
I mean, I don't know if I can live up to all the things that you just said about me, but I will try my hardest.
Stop it. No, he is actually so nice. He is just a beautiful person inside and out. He's also so funny in real life. You guys, you have to meet this person. He's just a bunch of joy for everyone.
Oh my god, now I have to compliment you. Oh my god.
No, you just
Are
have
we-
to say like, "Hey, you too."
Oh my god, the same. Oh my god.
same, bitch.
Same for him. Same for
Oh
him.
my gosh. Well, thank you so much for coming into the podcast.
No, thank you for having me. It was a little bit of a hot drive to get here, but
I know.
I love it.
Oh my god, he came all the way from San Diego.
Yeah, which on GPS says 2 hours, but
Mhm.
once you're in the car, no.
No,
You-
it's probably like 3-4.
Yeah, you're clocking in for a 12-hour shift, bitch. You're
And-
just might as well.
Pressure ulcer stage 4, baby.
Yeah, I had to wear my little butt taco. That's the little Mepilex for those of y'all that don't know.
The Mepilex. Oh
I call it
my-
the butt taco because
butt taco.
yeah, because you fold it and you put it in there.
That is so true.
Once it's in there like swimwear, for those that need it, it looks like a butt taco.
You know what? That's like the Skims of healthcare.
It really is. Some people, it makes them look thinner, honestly.
It's giving like, tell me when you find my waist. It's
Right.
missing, baby.
Yeah, it's missing. I'm sorry. I just put on this Mepilex And now
You're
you can't see me.
you're too freaking
It's
funny.
covering me up.
Stop it. You're too
It's
funny.
like a blanket.
But again, thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to have you here today in the podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has been asking, please bring Daddy Addie on the podcast. We love him. He's so funny. It's like FaceTiming with him every single time we watch his video, and that's what people has been saying.
Yeah, that's literally because normally I'm clocking out like right after my shift. So
For sure.
yeah, so I'm like, let me record this really quick, and then I FaceTime my best friend, and then I'm complaining about my shift right after that.
I know, and I
So
love it so much because it's so true what they're saying. It's like we're talking to you personally. Like it doesn't feel like I'm talking to like just a camera. I feel so connected when you talk in the camera.
I'm sure you can relate where when you talk, like you just have to sit there and you're like, okay, how would I word this to my best friend?
Right,
Like
for sure.
to my best friend, no bullshit. Just how would I talk to them? And most of my best friends would tell me, get to the point, get to the point, get to the point. So that's what I try to bring when I get to the videos
Right.
is like just get straight to the point, get to the punchline, punchline, punchline.
And you just like you kill it every time.
Not every time, but
Hey,
I appreciate it.
no, I actually I laugh at every single one of them.
I laugh.
And
I laugh at myself.
me too. That's when you know we're ill.
Yeah.
If we laugh our own jokes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. 100%.
Well, before we head on to the whole social media thing of you being the most popular Daddy Addie out there, I think people wants to get to know you first personally. So
Right.
can you walk us through
Okay.
from
Give you like the full
vaginal birth to
vaginal.
you know,
Okay.
period.
Actually, I am a gold star gay, so I never touched a vagina.
Period. C-section, bitch.
Yeah. I know. No, just kidding. I actually was born
You-
like via vagina, but
You passed
like
through
to
it, but you never touched it.
I like to tell people I never touched one. Yeah.
It's too fucking funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
But not true because we have to with our job. But yeah, so I was born in a small town in South Georgia. Grew up-
Wait, you're Georgian?
Yes. Yeah, I'm a Georgia boy. Baby, lock them doors and
Turn
turn
the
them lights
lights
down
down
low.
low.
I don't know the rest. Do you know the rest?
No.
I thought, are we going for a second verse, bitch? I don't know. So yeah, I grew up in Georgia, kind of like on the Florida-Georgia line, and was there my whole life until I graduated high school, went to college, went to nursing school. I have one older sister, and she's also a nurse. She doesn't work as a nurse anymore.
Okay.
But she's also a nurse. And both of my parents are medical as well. They're both podiatrists. I just kind of grew up around a medical family or medical background.
So
Do
you
all that
never
crazy stuff.
really had any other profession in mind for you to like think about like, oh, I want to be like a flight attendant or something like that.
No, well, I always wanted to go into like acting and stuff. I always was kind of like a theater kid, especially during the summers. I would do plays, musicals, and always just loved making people laugh.
I love that.
Was just always the class clown, but also the teacher's pet.
Period.
So I would get away with a lot.
a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff that I should not have gotten away with. And so, yeah, growing up, that was just always my personality. And then I was like, oh, I just want to bring this like to healthcare and take care of my patients and also make them smile. So I still was the same person. I still like loved making people laugh, but there was this like sense of urgency of like, okay, I need to choose a career field that I can get through school and support myself like as
Right.
quickly as possible.
Right.
And so then I went to school in kind of like middle Georgia, close to Alabama, and went through nursing school. And like, I graduated college like 3 years later. So I was like 21 whenever I graduated, and I was like a baby nurse and went straight into the ICU.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
10 out of 10 do not recommend.
For sure.
But
for sure.
I'm very stubborn. And when you tell me like, oh, I can't do this, or maybe you should do this first and then work your way up, like I'm always just like, no, I want to jump and do it now.
And I think that's a good thing though. Like how they say like, oh, you gotta start in med search first so that you can hone your skills, or, like,
Right.
practice your skills.
Mhm.
But honestly, in nursing, I feel like you can just do whatever makes you interested in the profession. But again, at the same time, you have to kind of recognize that if you want to go ICU, you have to prepare yourself that it's not what it's like in the books.
Right. Nursing school versus being a nurse is very different. Nursing school, I feel like, is the hard part.
For sure.
And then once you become a nurse, that's the traumatizing part.
You worded so perfectly Because it's
Right.
so true. How did you do in nursing school? Like, what kind of student were you in nursing
Oh
school?
my gosh. Sometimes I would do well in like pharmacology or something that was like kind of more straight memorization.
That's
But
so me.
yeah, but
That is
pretty
so me.
pretty much everything else, like I get so distracted. My ADHD was all over the place. The only test I probably could have passed was like a breathalyzer. I'm just kidding.
Not a breathalyzer.
But no, for real. So I didn't do as well as I hoped, but I always just told myself, hey, this is just temporary. I was going through school super fast. I also was like the youngest person in my class. So I
Oh
just
my
told
god.
myself, like, oh, if I fail something, it's okay. Like, you can repeat and take your time.
For
But
sure.
I luckily never let that happen. And I also was working full time in the school. I was a CNA,
Okay.
and then I was also an RA. Do you know what that is?
No, what's an RA?
A resident advisor. So you're basically like a professional tattletale, and you live in the dorms for free.
Oh.
So, like, the people that, like, come and they like, you have the curfew, and
Right.
you come in there and you're like, "Stop smoking weed." Like, "Who's this in your bed?" Like, um, or like, "Why do you
Oh.
have alcohol?" Like,
And
that was me. I was a professional tattletale.
oh my
Mhm,
god.
So it prepared me for nursing so well. That's where the name Big Daddy Addie came from. So, I was given that name, or rather I earned it. So, basically, I lived in the freshman dorms, and each of the RAs had, like, a hall, and my hall was primarily girls, and they were, like, the hoes.
Okay.
And
Period.
so
Okay.
which I loved. I loved them. I loved
Okay.
my
For sure.
hoes,
The
but it
host.
made me look like a pimp because what would happen was all my hoes would go around to the other floors in the freshman dorms, and they would literally be just like flirting with all the boys, sometimes girls.
Period.
Hey, and a lot of the RAs would text me and be like, "Addison, you need to get your girls. You need to
So you were
they're
a
partying."
parent.
So I would have to like go to the other halls and like collect my girls and be like, "It's past like midnight. What are you doing?"
Like the
Like,
coochie is close.
yes, what are and you have a boyfriend. I'm telling. And like
Pe-
but no, sometimes I would
per-
and they
period.
would be like, okay." And they'd be like,
Oh,
"Okay, Daddy Addie." And like and so that's kind of like where it like kind of came from.
Daddy
They would call me Daddy Addie,
Addie.
and then some people would be like, "Big Daddy?" Like, who, wait, what? And then so
What?
it just turned into Big Daddy Addie
Oh, that's
from there.
so funny.
So yeah, so then I just started going by that.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it though. Big Daddy Addie.
Yeah.
Now I understand it better now, like why it's a Big Daddy Addie, because you were literally their dad.
Yeah.
So we got the Big Daddy Addie reference,
Uh-huh.
and then so you're doing that. You were RA and a CNA at the same time.
Yes. Yeah.
And with your parents, were they there to support you, or they were just completely off it?
So it's complicated without getting into that too much.
Too deep.
Yeah, too deep. But my dad was like not in the picture anymore, and parents at the time were not very supportive
Right.
of my homosexual lifestyle. So that's kind of what
Okay.
caused a lot of the like why I had to be my own parent and
For sure. For sure.
independent. I think that's where I learned like I said, I'm very stubborn, but I also like, and I want this like to be like a message to anyone that might be listening that
For sure.
is gay or maybe their parents don't agree with like choices of their lifestyle or whatever. First of all, it always gets better. As stupid as that sounds, it always gets better. But the thing is that when people are giving you a million reasons to fail, think of how good it's gonna feel if you don't. If like you overcome that and then you prove them wrong, think
That's
of
it.
how good.
I'm so happy for you though. You've
Yeah.
achieved so much in life
No, thank you so much.
that
But
I think
no.
like not only you're a nurse,
Mhm.
you've supported yourself all the way through. So many people in the internet loves you just because your personality shines, and I think like
Thank you.
that shows a lot of who you are as a person, is that you're very positive. You look for anything that's going to lighten up your day, some other else's or situation. That tells a lot about you as a person.
And it's hard to do. Like or hard to be positive in like the environment that we work in.
Oh, for sure. For
So
sure. For sure.
so if you can twist it or disassociate or use your mental illness to your advantage,
Thank you.
then do it, bitch.
So since we're talking about nursing, can you tell us more about your nursing journey? So you said like you started in ICU.
Yeah.
And tell
I
us the
did.
whole journey of nursing till now.
Oh gosh. Okay, so I went straight into the ICU. I just got lucky because I just happened to, I think, work there a couple of times
Right.
whenever I was a CNA. So they kind of recognized me. And they're like, oh, yeah, like you can work here. And then as soon as I started, I was like, wait, we're putting that in what hole? Hold on. Why does every like hole have to be filled with something?
I
Hold
know,
on. Like, I
right?
don't understand. Like, why do we need to monitor that? And then
Right.
I learned really quickly. I was a year for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then became a travel nurse because I don't know if you know this, but in Georgia, nurses do not make
No,
anything.
apparently not.
Yeah, no.
Apparently not.
You literally might as well work any other job. So,
Might as well be a stripper at that
that,
point. They probably make more.
yeah,
Period.
period.
So you were a nurse in Georgia for how long?
So, well, 2 years. And then I became a travel nurse. I went to South Carolina. And the week that I started travel nursing,
Yeah.
everything shut down for COVID. So I unintentionally became a COVID ICU like crisis nurse, but like as like a regular like travel nurse, like not, so
You
people,
got stuck in some shit.
yeah, for a while, but like because some people were like talking about the amount of money that people were making
For
during the
sure.
pandemic and
The
the crisis
pandemic.
nurses like going to New York and stuff like that. And I was like, I was working that, but I was not making that,
Right.
because I was already contracted.
That's
Yeah, and
crazy.
so then after a while, I was just like, well, like once my contract was up, I was like, and I had enough money saved, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go somewhere else
For
that
sure.
where I actually kind of want to be since everything shut down. And so then I went to California, and that's when I realized what California nursing
Is exact.
was,
So when
which is what nursing should be.
for
Most
sure.
places in California,
For
it's what
sure.
nursing should
For
be.
sure. For sure. So when did you move here in California?
Well, my first travel, I didn't like move officially.
Okay.
And so because I still travel all around.
Oh, you still do.
Yeah, but just primarily SoCal and California. But I first came over here in I think that was 2020, the end of 2020.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it was because, yeah, that was whenever the first like wave hit
The
of,
wave
yeah.
of COVID hit. Yeah.
Yeah, so that must have been in July or September, July, August or September of 2020. Like,
Wow. So
yeah.
you've been here for a while.
Yeah, so I've like seen like the way like California has like
Yes.
progressed and everything, and then I've done contracts, I've done per diems,
Oh,
I've just
everything.
been listen, if there's one thing you need to know about me is I love to be passed around. And I'm just kidding. In
Feel
the hospital.
hashtag
In
pe-
the hospital.
hospital.
That's why I'm a float nurse.
Float.
Which they might as well just rename that sinking, because that's all you're doing.
You're
Is you're just
sinking down the fucking boat with whoever the fuck
there's no
unit.
floating involved. Like I'm like,
No.
why are you floating me here? This hospital.
Oh,
I
because
might
it's
as well.
sinking.
Yeah, I'm captaining the Titanic right now. I'm not floating.
That's too freaking. That's so funny though, because it's so true. Like when you get float, the reason why you're getting floated is because that unit is sinking,
Yes.
and you're not really gonna float because you're
Yeah.
you're about
They're
to
calling
sink.
you. They might as well call you the floatee because you're basically a human life preserver at that point.
You
You're
are
just like
basically the floaty that they're looking for.
you're there to take all the patients that they don't want.
That's too freaking funny. Are you still afloat now?
Yeah, most places. So that's the thing is that most places, if you're an ICU nurse, they just automatically put you in the float pool because they're like, oh, you can work anywhere, which is not
Damn,
the case.
that's
Because you
not the
go,
case.
if you put me in with like 5 patients, I'm losing my mind.
For
I
sure.
love all my patients, but I'm losing my mind.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Oh my God, you're lucky you've never had. What's the max patient you've ever had?
Oh, I've had like the 5 patients.
You've
for sure.
had
Mm-hmm.
5?
Actually, I've had like, I mean, as a CNA, and like if they've floated me to
I've
like,
had 15, beach.
Yeah.
15. That's
15?
crazy shit. I
Yeah.
know.
see, you can't,
Like
you can't.
I was like, you all wipe
You're a
your.
machine at that point.
I was like, girls,
You're not-
boys, wash your ass, put your IV, feed yourself. Here's your medication. You got
Yeah.
this.
But in the ICU, the most I've had is 3.
Okay,
And
that's even 3 in ICU.
That's a
is
lot.
A lot.
And we would have that during the pandemic, and people would freak out. Now, granted, it was a lot of work, but there also was a lot of help to like prone patients and
For
things like that.
sure.
But I was like, I had 3 patients all the time in Georgia.
I
I
know.
was like,
Holy shit.
so
Oh
I
my
just,
God.
I was like, let's do it. Who are we flipping now? Like,
And now, are you floating or ICU still? You're
I,
floating, right?
yeah, well, so right now I'm in between like contracts, but I'm about to start back again a per diem that's going to be float.
Where are you going?
Oh, I don't want to say on here.
Oh,
I don't want
that's
people to find me. People
okay.
are crazy. Y'all are
People are crazy. That's true.
crazy.
There's like millions of people listening to this.
Oh my god.
Okay,
So
so
I'm gonna
but
be
you're
at
in California.
Grace Sloan Memorial.
But you're still gonna be in California.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. California. Sorry if that was the question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're still gonna be in
I'm still gonna be,
California.
yeah, because I want to say, so that's why like I hadn't officially moved here, and then like
Right.
now that I finally have like a per diem, I'm gonna like
Job.
move here. Yeah,
You get to
a
move.
job.
Job. Period. Hablo. Hablo. So you're in California now. How do you navigate in the changes? Because Georgia is completely different from California in so many ways.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's so many things.
And
Everything's
like
different.
leaving your family and friends for
Yeah.
work. So you're independent here.
Right. And I think a lot of that. So that part doesn't scare me as much. I know, like to other people, like it sounds scary,
For
but I
sure.
already had to do that,
For
like growing up.
that is true.
So
So you've kind of had the skills and the ability to kind of like, yeah,
yeah. So
I got myself.
I'm like, I can do this.
Period.
If I'm unemployed for a month, I can find another job. And then,
That's so
yeah, or I
true.
can go
That
shake my
is.
ass on an IV pole somewhere. Um,
Since you're talking about the IV poll now, can you explain to us how you got into social media?
so
When did it all started?
well, I was bored. So
Real? It all starts with that.
I was bored, and I love attention. And so then I was like, what can I do? It's either stripping or maybe social media.
Period.
So no, but it started in the pandemic whenever I was an ICU nurse
For sure.
in South Carolina. And I was bored, and whenever things shut down and you're an ICU nurse working with COVID patients, nobody wants anything to do with you. So I
Thank
was
you.
literally in like I couldn't even go to Target in my scrubs
Are
because
you
people would look at me
Yeah.
like
Shit.
like I was contagious.
Why are you
So
out there?
so that's where like all the like social media started. I was just like doom scrolling on TikTok, like, and then from that I was like, I could do this, I think maybe. And I started making some nursing content, but then whenever I started like talking to the camera and saying dumb shit, that's whenever,
People loved it.
yeah, people loved it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
You want me to say dumb shit? I do that all day. I can do
I
this.
do that on daily.
Yeah. I'm
Holy.
like, so I was just like, okay, so I just have to click record.
That's so funny. What's your first ever viral video?
Okay, the first viral one where I was actually like talking to the camera was I was talking about taxes and like going to jail. Like I was like, it's tax season and I'm gonna go to jail or something like that.
That's too freaking funny.
And then that one went viral. And then I think like my first like nursing one that like went like super viral was I was talking about COVID. Okay, it was like COVID talking about like the Delta, and then I said something else.
Yes, I remember this. This is the first video I've ever seen from you, and it was so damn funny.
And I
There's
said,
like
anyways,
millions.
I have to go fart in my wallet for gas money.
That's so
And then
freaking funny.
Everybody was just like, excuse me? What did you say? And I was like, what I said.
What I fucking said.
Um,
And when did the one thing straight, two things gay started?
I think it started because I would do these videos like with the IV pole and stuff like that on my breaks
Right.
at work. And so I work night shift, so I would also get bored.
Thank
And
you.
one of the hospitals I was working at, you had like an hour lunch break. So I would go
An hour?
an hour. Sometimes it was broken up though. But
Right.
but I was like, can you give me a whole hour together? Okay. And I was like, what am I gonna do? Because as nurses, we scarf our food down like in 5
Period.
minutes. So I was like,
Period.
what am I
Like,
supposed to do with the other 55 minutes?
That's so true.
So I would just like go try to like film, like I would go to the parking garage and I would film TikToks and I would try to come up with like different intros and like it was just like 3 jokes in one video. And so I would
love
try to
that.
think of different things to say to get people's attention at the beginning. And that's where the let's get one thing straight
Two
and two
things
things
gay.
gay came from.
That is so
Yeah,
funny.
and
That
so-
that was such a golden idea though, because that's your brand right now.
Yeah, it's
And I
it's
feel
just
like-
kind of caught a life of its own.
Yeah, I feel like that should be on a shirt or something.
Yeah,
One
I'm-
thing straight, two things gay.
yeah, I'm just really lazy.
You guys need to keep convincing Daddy Addie to just pull it on a shirt and
Yeah.
wear it.
I will. It's coming. It's coming.
Period.
It will.
As it should. You know what I did not realize is actually what we're doing is still nursing, but we're not nursing patients. We're nursing our colleagues.
Right. We're still taking care of people.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're
And
just not doing it by the book. We're
Thank
just
you.
doing it unconventionally.
Unconventionally, and like where the intrusive thoughts that
Right.
our colleagues can't say in person.
Right. And then,
Literally.
yeah. And then, like, once you graduate, it's just kind of like, just take care of your patients. Do what's best for the patient. At the end of the day, do what's best for the patient,
That's it.
regardless of what the book says sometimes. And
Exactly.
if that means that if your dementia patient thinks that you're on a boat, bitch, I want to be on a boat too. I want to, like,
Pull me as a captain.
I'm saddling up. Hold on, let me go grab my paddle real quick. And now let's captain this
So
ship
that's so freaking
because
funny.
this is more entertaining than working in the hospital. It's like,
Thank you.
yeah, I'm like, do you
Thank
know where we are? Oh, we're on a ship. Oh, bitch, where we
Wh-
going? Hold on, hold on,
Where's
hold on,
Where's Jack and Rose?
hold on. I didn't realize we were on a ship. I just clocked in. Let's go. Where are we going?
Since we're talking about
We're
patients
going to Maui.
and something, patients experience, like what is the craziest patient experience you've ever had?
I get asked this all the time, and my answer is like, I feel like I could say something mundane that's like just a general part of my day, and you would think that's crazy.
True.
Like, people don't realize that. Like, when they ask nurses that, especially on like first dates and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
they like,
Have you
I
ever
could
have you ever been asked that on a date?
all the time. And it's like the first,
That is so
it's always like
weird.
the first thing is like, people are always like, I want you to be my nurse.
Bitch, I'm off. I'm off the clock, bitch.
I'm like, okay, we don't accept your insurance. I'm like, insurance denied.
Insurance a nice bitch.
Yeah, I'll tell you where I'm gonna put the Foley later. And like,
16 or 18 French.
and then like later you realize it's, oh, I should probably just use an IV. Like, no shade,
No shades.
no shade, no shade.
No, put a condom cat. Quick,
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, for sure. Listen, don't even get me started on the condom
That's
caps.
so stop.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
literally the condom caps. Like, what always surprises me. Well, I'll get to like my crazy story in a minute. What always surprises me is whenever you always get like the toxic masculinity. Like, you get the patients that are literally, they're dying. Like, they have COPD. Like, they can barely breathe. They're on a BiPAP or whatever. And then you go to put the condom cath on, and they act like, oh, like, what are you doing? And you're like, hey, like, can you go get me a small condom cath or something like that? And they're like, I'm not a small.
Baby.
I'm not a small. And I'm just like, okay,
Well, the skin tells me, yeah.
okay. We don't have to lie. I feel like there's other things that we could worry about. Like,
There's bigger
let's-
things that we can worry about than your small condom catheter.
right. Let's focus on the problems at hand. I feel like let's focus on the things that we can change. You know, let's focus.
You clocked their tea.
Yeah,
Right
let's focus on the lifestyle changes that we can change. This we can't help, and this is not a this is
And
yeah,
your bigger problem is your diagnosis, not your small dick.
right. Well, oop,
Oh,
oop.
period.
Exactly. And it's like, well, actually, I was gonna go get a pure wig, but I was being nice.
Not the pure. Not the freaking pure wig. Oh yeah.
So-
So going back to your crazy story.
Oh my gosh, I have so many. Do you want crazy or do you want like traumatizing?
Traumatizing.
Okay, so the day that I wanted to quit, it was a dark, stormy night in the ICU. Actually, I don't know what the fuck the weather was, but we were. Oh, these are sound effects. The
Okay,
patient was
sound effect.
intubated, so
Yeah.
you have to.
BiPAP. Beep boop beep boop. Beep boop beep boop. Ding ding ding.
Okay, so the patient had C. diff
Ooh.
and was not small, so it took 4 of us to turn them over. I was on the ass up side, and it's a fine line when you're cleaning a patient up. Between-
I already know this.
It's a fine line between cleaning them up and stimulating something. And so sometimes it's like you're in ride at Splash Mountain. You don't know when the drop is gonna happen, but you know it might come. And
Yeah.
so we were gowned up. We thought we were ready. Gowned up, had towels, the whole 9 yards, and double gloved, triple gloved, I think, that day. And we just cleaned a little bit too much and stimulated, and we got sprayed. And
Whew.
me and the nurse, I'll never forget the look in that nurse's face. I've had dead patients or deceased patients where the room was louder than in that room when that happened. nobody was laughing. No, everybody's jaw dropped. Everybody hit the floor, like the amount that just came.
Yeah.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
trigger warning if anybody doesn't like bodily fluids. And so we like turned to each other, and I just remember looking at the other nurse, and I was just like, Tiffany, tell me it's not on my face. Just tell me it's not on my face. Like, even if it is, like, just tell me. And she was like, she's like, it's not, like, and she's like, is it on mine? And I was like, no. And we just like stood there, like gloved and like in the gowns, and we just like didn't know what to do. And we normally don't get breaks in Georgia, but that day we took a break and we just like sat
Oh,
outside.
baby, I
And
need
we're
a
like,
vacation.
yeah. We were like, and then
Was
but
it a lot?
oh yeah, it was like I rode Splash Mountain. It was literally like yeah, it was so bad. Like, I don't know. I've never seen anything like it, honestly.
And
And it was so bad. Like, I was traumatized in that moment. So let me drink. So
uh,
in
I'm
that
gonna me
moment,
a drink.
I was like, this is, oh, this,
This is how it feels
oh,
like.
so nursing is like this.
this
Oh,
is this is how it feels like.
so nothing prepared me. Oh, so all those tests that I took. Oh, oh,
You're not supposed to just wash your hands for 30 seconds and then introduce yourself and then take up the curtain and things are gonna go well.
in that moment, none of that mattered.
Shit,
Like,
no.
yeah, no.
My God.
HIPAA, OSHA, be damned. At that point, like I was like, I don't care. This is not worth my license right now. Like in that moment, I was
No.
like, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it.
Ooh.
I was like, and I
I would
just,
have taken a bath.
yeah,
Bath.
we took it off and we all like I don't think it was on our like scrubs. I don't think it got on our scrubs, but I remember we all like me and like we just got like the surgical scrubs and we changed and we just
Continue
for the
continue
rest
on
of
your
the
day.
shift like everybody like we just sat in silence and we were just like, and
Okay.
I was in my head like, because they tell you in nursing school like nothing can prepare you from when you start working in the hospital, and I think I was just like stubborn and went straight into the ICU and was just laughing, and I even saw people like comforted family members as like their loved one died and
For
all that. Saw a
sure.
lot of traumatizing stuff, but it wasn't until that moment that
That
I
you're
was
like, you
like,
know what? Fuck this shit.
not only that, but like I was blaming myself. I was like, oh, I fucked up. Like I don't want this
Real
license.
hard.
I was like,
Real hard. Like this is not what I thought I'm gonna get into. Oh my
like, how do I
God.
get a refund? Hold on. Like,
Even half of the refund, I'll take it.
sometimes, like, I love my patients, but sometimes in moments like that, you're just like, throw it all away. Throw the patient away. Let's start anew.
For forget the whole schooling, forget all the struggles. Fuck
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so
That was the most
crazy.
traumatizing story.
That
Yeah.
that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I I can't I don't want to be in that position.
Yeah.
Never.
Which, I mean, I'm sure we all have gotten like stuff on us
We
and
done. I mean, like,
bodily fluids on us, but like to be sprayed
I know.
with it like a skunk,
It's
like
like straight up.
straight up.
Imagine your mouth open.
No, not in that moment.
You keep your mouth closed every time. Now, like,
Mm-hmm. Mouth open, eyes closed. I'm just like, where am I? Like this.
Fupa. Oh my God, that's crazy. Now, my next question is:
Okay.
have you gotten any hate on
Oh
the
yeah.
internet from one
It
of the
was so
bitches?
stupid. I made a video where I was talking about getting Starbucks in the morning.
Okay.
So there's this guy, I guess, that he makes these videos where he like it's like gym motivation and it's like very like toxic masculinity and he's like, we go gym now.
Oh my God, Jim Bros.
Yes, but there's like this one guy in particular that does it, and this is no shade to him. I don't think it was him that
Mhm.
started the hate. But I just stitched one of his videos, and I just like had just woken up, and my hair was messy, and I was just like, "No, we go Starbucks. No, we go Starbucks now instead of the gym." And so, like that went viral, and then somebody else stitched that and like was calling me like a beta instead of like an alpha male.
Ugh.
So I got like flooded with. Now, granted, it all just seemed really stupid to me. So I was
It is
laughing.
stupid.
I
It
was
is
laughing
very
because
stupid.
out of all the things you could make fun of me for, that's what you called me a beta.
Right?
What
Ba-
even is that? What?
I have no idea what the alpha and the beta is.
What?
All I know is if you're in a hospital, you're not an
Yeah.
alpha, you're not a beta, you will get the
What?
Foley
What is
catheter.
a beta? That means I wash in between my booty cheeks? Yeah, then I'm a
Thank
beta.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
because you
you.
look like you don't. And
Teak locked?
right. And so you just let the water run. Like you just
Period.
like I'm just like, okay. So what are we doing here? And then so I got all these guys, a lot of them were just like spam accounts, and they just like flooded all my videos with like
That's
beta
crazy.
this, beta that.
That is
Um
crazy.
I had to go through delete thousands of comments, like
Do you know that
thousands
there's
of
a
comments.
filter comment in TikTok?
So I did, yeah, so I did that, but this was like after. Like because it
Oh,
just happened so fast, it blew up.
right.
And so by the time I like caught up to it and was trying to delete it, then my account got banned, and then I had to like reach out to TikTok, and then they like gave me my account back. Thank you, TikTok.
Thanks, TikTok.
But for a while there, if y'all noticed I was missing for like 2 months, that was
Because of that.
yeah, it was because of that, and it just they like all like reported my
And I mean,
account and
like,
everything.
people will literally report any videos that they don't like. And for
Yes.
some reason, this application, and shades on you guys, I don't know how the hell do you guys do this run of privacy and shit. But, like, they reported a comment that I did before for sexual abuse
Yeah.
when I said, like, okay, puff off, queen.
Yeah.
Sexual abuse?
I said slay to someone once, and they were like, "This is violence," and I was like, "Not yet. Watch me, bitch." And
Well, now it is.
I was like, now I'm violent. Like,
But
okay,
and they would report videos that doesn't have any correlation to the report,
yeah,
and TikTok would flag it.
yeah,
I'm like, do you guys like who is in the back of this whole thing?
yeah. And sometimes, or it's like you're being too sexual or something like that, and it's like, and I was just there in my scrubs. I wasn't even dancing or anything, and I'm just like, well, if I turn somebody on,
That's
then
not
that's
on me.
not my fault. You know?
If the person reported this got a boner,
Yeah,
that's on them.
that's on them. They
Mm-mm.
just felt guilty about it because they were watching it with their phone in their left hand.
Thank you. Period.
Period.
Clock T. Oh my god. So going back to the social media situation, what is something that you like about social media that you're doing right now?
As stupid as it sounds, I love the going live and just talking to people every day, and just like the engagement that way, because it's so much more like real time
For sure.
rather than just like, oh, I posted this thing for you and then they comment. And I'm sure you deal with the same thing, kind of like at like your live shows. It's just a different
It's a different vibe.
beast, yeah, or different.
It's nice to be able to like actually like FaceTime with people in real time.
And to see their like genuine reaction like
For
in real
sure,
time,
for
it's like,
sure.
and
And
to
you're a
also
gamer too.
right, and to yeah, and so then to also but some of that comes from like me just having ADHD. I just need something to do. Like I
For
can't
sure.
just sit in front of in front of the screen and just like read comments and
For
just
sure.
wait for it. So like I like to game because it gives me something to do, and it also provides content
For
or
sure.
like a
for
way
sure.
to also entertain people. But yeah, I do gaming. I would say that's probably like my favorite part of social media is just like the live aspect, but then also just the genuine reactions
From people.
from people,
Like what you
and then
get
being
from
able to
them.
like engage with them in the comments.
And what is something in social media that you learned that you hate about it? Apart from hate.
Sometimes like how like time consuming
It is.
it can be, or like thought.
Are you consume on your phone most of the time? Are
I
you on your
try
phone?
not to be. I've gotten a lot better,
Okay.
but yes, yeah, I am.
I'm always on my phone
I'm
too.
always on my phone, but I've gotten a lot better. And I think though that it was kind of like a blessing and a curse whenever I got my account banned,
For
because
sure.
when I went those 2 months without like an account like at all,
It felt better.
then I was like, why? Like, because it really felt like a part of me died, and like that sounds dramatic,
No, it's true.
but it's like,
It's
but just
true.
think, even like right now, like if like your account was just taken away for like no reason, and
Oh
they were
yeah,
like
I
you're
would
banned,
die.
and then like you couldn't get a hold of like it really does feel like a part of you died, like because it's something that you put a lot of time and effort into, but at the same time it wasn't like something tangible in my life, so I was able to like sit back and like go to therapy and
Period.
be like, why did this affect me so much? Like, because this is like not something that's in real life.
That's for sure.
it
For
is.
sure.
There
For
is a sense
sure.
like it's a part of you, but it's not everything.
For
It's
sure.
not your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's whenever like I was able to take a step back and be like, so that's probably what I don't like is that when it did affect me and consume me so much, I was like, okay, it's okay to enjoy this thing and to have it be a part of your life, but it shouldn't be your whole life.
For sure, for sure. Because a lot of people now makes it their whole life.
Right.
That's it.
And it's okay to make it your job. I'm not saying like, oh,
Oh
don't
yeah, oh
like
yeah, for sure, for
don't make
sure.
it your whole life, but you still have to have like if it got taken away tomorrow, like would you be okay?
That's it. Because it's always, I mean, TikTok is in the verge of getting taken away
Yeah, well,
from us. Is
yeah,
it really?
it's like a
I'm.
threat. I don't know.
It's a threat, but I
It's a
don't think it will ever go away.
I mean, I think but I get all my news also from TikTok, so I'm
I
like,
know,
I don't know how
right?
biased that is.
That is so true.
But according to TikTok, TikTok's not getting taken away. Like according to people on TikTok, it's not getting taken away.
According from TikTok sources,
It's gonna, I guess, take so long.
for it to be taken, to, it's generating so much money in the United States.
Right. It's so many jobs
For
and so many
sure.
people are profiting from it or benefiting from it, even if they don't have a business on
And
TikTok.
have you been profiting from like social media, like financial
Not as
wise?
much as I want to. Hey, sponsors.
Yes, sponsors, period.
But yeah, like there is definitely a payoff to it.
Oh, for sure,
Um,
for sure, for sure, for sure.
and I used to be like very resistant to that idea
For
because
sure.
I didn't want it to like make me like let it become my whole life.
For sure.
And then I was like, oh, this can be a part of your life and you can profit from this and
That's it.
but without it being
Too much of like your whole
yeah, like yeah,
existence.
still be yourself.
That's it.
And then if that just happens to make you money, then that's the American dream right there.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And since we're getting to the end of this whole podcast, what is something that you want to tell the people listening right now?
Okay, well actually I have two life mottos. So like live by this. I shouldn't be anybody's role model, first of all. I should just be like your like slutty inspiration.
Period.
I can be your inspo, but yeah, don't put me as your role model. Maybe like your whole model. Just JK. No, but yeah, comparison is the thief of joy. Loved like when you said that because like I grew up like always, and so I have to remind myself that all the time. And that's basically social media is like a breeding ground for you to just like compare yourself to other people
Oh,
because
for sure.
that's literally like what it is like
That's
you're
how it
liking
is.
videos because it's sometimes you're like, oh, I want that or I see that or I want that life
That's
so it's okay to like admire something and like want more for yourself or have goals and things like that, but that doesn't mean it has to look like this other person that's doing the same thing. So don't compare yourself too much because you'll just never be happy
for sure.
and focus on the things you can control. And then the other thing is that that's how I'm able, especially the nurses that are listening, is when I clock into my shifts and I disassociate if I'm having a hard day or I get something traumatizing comes my way, I always just think my life motto is this is just temporary.
That's true.
And I'm like, this is just temporary. I feel like it's okay to acknowledge the feeling in the moment and be like, wow, this is overwhelming. This is traumatizing. This is a lot. But like, don't let it affect you in the moment. And I know it's stupid. And I know sometimes that's not always realistic, but you can always just think like, this is just temporary. You're going to feel better later. And like, you have to kind of self regulate.
That's so. I
And
love that.
that's been the most like important thing that I've
L-
like had to learn growing up is like, this is just temporary and that it always gets better.
That is true.
And then
That
it
is
gets
true.
worse again. And
And
then
it
it gets
gets
better.
worse.
And then it gets
Exactly.
worse again.
Which is, I think, is life, anyways. Is that like you can never always be in a high. Like there's always
No,
gonna be lows, but
no.
what you gotta remember, like you said, is the lows is temporary, just like the highs.
Right.
So your
And it
expectation should always be in the middle.
right. And it goes with like that comparison thing is because then you see these people that like it looks like they're just always on high, 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 high. Those are the people that are behind closed doors are like it's a shit show.
Oh, for sure,
You
for
know?
sure.
It's a and I hate to say that. Like I hope I don't wish that for them, but it's just like
It's
don't
true.
always compare yourself to those people.
That's it. And like what you see in social media is not entirely what describe this person as a whole.
Right.
Is I think something also that like for us healthcare workers is that we get judged so much because we chose to show ourselves and be out there in public, and they're like, I would never want you to be my nurse, but how can you know that without
Yeah.
me taking care of you?
Right.
Like, how are you telling me that because you've seen a stupid video that I made,
Right.
you're now able to tell me that I cannot save you?
Right.
Like, who the fuck are you to tell me that? Well, thank you so much, Big Daddy Addie, for being on the podcast. And I think like a lot of people have learned more about you, about who you are as a person and you as a nurse. And I like, as you were saying, like, don't make me a role model, but I feel like a lot of people, a lot of like teenagers, a lot of people who's listening right now who can relate to your story can make you their role model, because look at you now. You
Yeah.
are successful. You've you brought yourself by yourself in a position where
Yeah.
a lot of people would have given up if they were in the
Right.
position that you were at before.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do if I was in your position. I feel like I don't know how I'm gonna be an RA and a CNA and then nursing school, all this shit all together, and like live with my best. Like, I would have like
Right.
lost it those days because I just don't have the capacity. Like, for sure now I could do it, but like, you did it, and I feel like that's something to like, for people to look up to. Like, oh my god, like, I love this man. Like, I love how he is where he's at right now because of what he did in his life.
Well, thank you so much. I really like that means a lot, like
For
coming from you.
sure, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. And I mean, like, I'm not feeding you bullshit right now. I'm just saying that
It's
it's.
okay. Like you can keep going, keep
I
gassing
know
me up. Actually,
you are just
I love
inspirational,
it.
and I think like I just love that for you and all the success that you've been getting right now in social media, in your career, everywhere.
Hmm.
I think you deserve it.
Yeah,
You
and
just deserve it.
well, the same to you. I think that you literally even anytime you get hate like that, I think that's like I've followed you for a long time, but that's what really like made me like solidified like my like love for you and like admiration for you was just when you started getting well, I mean, we always get hate, but
For
like
sure.
when I saw you get like a lot of hate, then the way that you handled that, I was like, "Oh, yeah, he's a real one."
That's
Like,
it. That's it. Because for me, like, my biggest thing is that if I have not stepped on anyone's foot,
mhm.
and I've always been the same person that I am from the very beginning, I've been very authentic of like what I
Yeah,
do. There's nothing for me to be worried about someone else's like judgment towards me.
right. And
That's
it's not clapping back. It's just not feeding it.
not feeding it.
Yeah.
And that's from therapy. Thank you,
Yeah.
therapist.
Don't feed the stray cat.
Period.
Yeah.
Again, thank you so much for being here in the podcast. And where can they follow you, Big Daddy Addie? Come on.
So you can follow me on TikTok at big_daddy_Addie, or you can follow me on Instagram at the official Addison. And
Exactly. And
that's my
you
main
are
platforms.
part of the Guard Malad
I
family.
am also part of the Guard Malad family. You can use code Addison10
Period,
on
to
Guard
get your
Malad,
scrubs. You know what,
or just
guys?
click the
If you're listening right now, use Big Daddy Addie's discount code. It's
ON
ADDISON10
10.
to get
Yeah.
your Garmelad scrubs on checkout. And
Hmm.
check Big Daddy on TikTok,
Hmm.
Instagram. Are you on YouTube?
Like a little bit. I'm
Are you
not like super
twitching?
active. So I'm mainly TikTok.
TikTok. I,
Mainly TikTok and Instagram now.
perfect.
But yeah, just or you can just if you want to find anything, just go to either TikTok or Instagram and click the links in my bio, and you can
Period.
find me anywhere else,
Everything and everywhere
even the
else.
Guard Malad discount code.
Period. Thank you again
Yeah.
so much, Daddy Addie. I love you so
No, I
much.
love you. Thank
We
you.
gotta finish this
Yeah, let's
mojito. It's
finish
hitting
this
me a
really
bit
quick.
because I told the guy, "Can I please get a mimosa on the go?" And he's like, "No, we don't do that." I was like, "Come on, baby, extra $5, hit us with something." He's like, "All right,
Mm.
I can do you a mojito. I'll spike with some vodka."
Oh yes, I
Period.
love it. That's my
Thank
favorite.
you again, Bessie, for listening to this episode of the podcast. I love you so much. Stay caffeinated, medicated, and hydrated. And I will see you again next week for another episode of your favorite podcast. I beg your pardon. See ya, Bessie.
Bye.